One thing I absolutely love is negotiation. The whole idea of positioning, taking and losing control. It's one of those things that you can get an incredible buzz out of if you're negotiating right. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is the language they use can, in fact, either help you take control of the negotiation or lose you control of the negotiation very, very quickly. Let me give you an example, because if you were to ask somebody the question, how much are you prepared to pay for this item? If they were to reply back by saying, I usually spend £50 on this item. The very nature of the fact that they said, I usually spend £50 means there must have been occasions where they haven't. Otherwise, they would say, I always spend £50. I always spend only £50 on this item. The very fact that they've said, I usually spend or I normally spend £50 on this item gives you a very clear indication there have been instances where they have paid a different amount. If there have been situations where they have paid a different amount and there has been an exception, let's make another exception here. Other language and other words to be very, very careful about when negotiating is using the word about. Again, let's use that same example of talking about price. If you were to ask the question, well, how much are you prepared to pay? And somebody says, I'm prepared to pay about £100. What figure is about £100? Because actually what they've told you is they're prepared to spend a figure around about £100. So how much is about or around £100? Well, it could be 90 because £90 is around £100. What you've also got to be very, very careful about is the language that you use. Because the language that you use, depending on the person you're negotiating with, can lose you that control very, very quickly. So have a listen to the language and the kind of words that people are using. If they're using things like usually, normally, I pay around or about or on average, they give you a very good indication that there may well be some scope for negotiation. So dig your heels in and play a little bit of hardball when you hear language like that. But also be really, really careful that you're not using language like that, because using the wrong language can lose you control just as quickly as it can gain you control. Have fun negotiating and listen to the language that people use.